take our equations from before, from the factored form, and we are going to solve them. So we had one that was x plus 2 and x plus 3. Alright, and so we're just simply going to take those out of the parentheses and set them each equal to 0. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to want to get the x alone so that we can figure out what the x values are, which is what we're ultimately trying to find, is the solution, the x value. So we're going to minus the 2 on each side, and we're going to minus the 3 on each side. So that's going to leave us with x equals -2 and x equals -3, which is our solutions for that equation. So then we've got the other one, of 2x plus 1 and then x plus 3. So we're going to do the same thing, as we're going to set them equal to 0. Alright, so then we're going to, this one's a little bit different. So we're just going to minus the 1 on each side for that one, and we're going to minus the 3. So then we've got 2x equals -1, and then x equals -3. So this is our solution here. But this one, we've got the 2 attached to the x. So to get rid of that, we're going to want to divide it. So then this cancels out, but we're also going to divide it on the other side. So we're left with the x over there, and it's going to be x equals -1 over 2, which is going to be our solution. Alright, and we've got our last one, which we had x plus 4 and x minus 4. So we're going to do the same thing again. X plus 4 equals 0, and then x minus 4 equals 0. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to minus the 4 over here, but then we're going to add the 4 over here. So then it leaves us with x equals 4, and then x equals -4, and those are our solutions for this one. And that is how to find the solution in a factored quadratic. Now what I've done here is I've just grouped these terms together. I've kind of like split them in half and just thrown them in their own little parenthesis. So now what we're going to do is we're going to factor each group. We're grouping them so that we can break this down in order to get it into simplest form. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just focus on this one over here, and we're going to see what times 2 makes 6. And so that's going to be 3. So what we're going to start with is we're going to put the 2 and an x on the outside so we keep that separate, so we can make sure we have that 2 in there for the coefficient. And then we're going to do an x so that whenever this multiplies over, it's going to be an x squared. And then we're going to put our plus 3, so we have our, whenever we do our little rainbow, we're going to have a 2x squared, and then our 6x, because there's just one x out here. So alright, and then on to the next one. We are going to do plus, but this time we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to put the 1 on the outside, so then it's just there, kind of just sitting out there just to get rid of it, you know? And we're going to put the x plus 3, so then whenever we do our little rainbow, it's going to be 1x, which is the same thing as x. It's no different. And then 1 times 3 is just 3. So now whenever we simplify this just a little bit more, we're going to factor out the common binomial, which is going to put us at this. And we're just going to kind of get rid of this over here because there's 2 of them. We're just going to, get rid of this. We're going to bring this with the 2x. We're going to keep the outside. Alright, so then we've got that joined together over there. And then we've got our remaining x plus 3. And that is factored form. We're going to do one more that's called difference of squares. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this equation, x squared minus 16. Now this is special because it's difference of squares and we can recognize that this is going to be a perfect square almost. So because it's a 16, we just have to find what times what equals 16, but it also will eliminate itself to where it's not dallying in the middle with its own little x. Instead of it being like x squared plus 4 minus 16, it's just not there. It just disappears because it'll cancel itself out. So what we're going to do is 16 is going to be a perfect square of 4. So, and in order to make it a negative, we've got to put a positive and a negative. So we're going to start with putting our x's on the outsides, kind of just on the edge, and then we're going to put a plus 4 in there, and then a negative 4. So then when we do a rainbow, it's just gonna dally on over, and then it's going to bring us back to this, because these two will cancel, because plus 4 minus 4 just equals 0. And that is factoring quadratics.